Yeah, so Daniel and I met in grade school, and we quickly became friends because we had a lot of similar interests.
Well, how did you guys meet?
So we went to the same grade school. We were in the same class together in fourth grade, and we sat by each other and quickly became friends. Um, he was he was the kind of guy who liked to do sports and liked to play soccer, and we just had a lot of similar interests, and so we quickly became good friends. And it was kind of from then on that we started going to each other's houses. Um, we would spend obviously the day together. We would go to his parents' house, go down to the creek and catch crawdads and minnows and
Frogs?
yeah, frogs sometimes. And,
Turtles?
we didn't see that many turtles, but we would go down there and um, we'd play basketball together, ride ripsticks together. So that was kind of our younger childhood years.
Who could play ball better?
Well, he was taller than me, so he had that advantage going for him. But I was a little bit quicker, so
All
it kind of
right.
depended on the situations.
So as you got older, was there still that close bond?
Yeah, as we got older, we actually became closer. We, for example, we went to church together, and we did robotics together in high school. We did in middle school as well. We did soccer and basketball, and we did a lot together as well. He enjoyed once he got his license. He enjoyed going to Pekin. He liked going to Little Caesars and Big R, and he enjoyed doing lots of different activities with friends. He would have bonfires at his parents' house, and we would go four-wheeling, and it was just a lot of fun.
You mentioned wheeling. I heard about something that he used to do. It was called mud sledding, where he would take. Could you maybe talk to me a bit about what it was like
Sure,
to be
yeah.
drug on a mattress?
So I usually was more of the safer one. I didn't generally risk hurting myself, but Daniel would enjoy giving people a good time. So he would when it would snow, for example, everyone would put all their snow gear on, and we would go out, and he would pull people behind on a mattress using the four-wheeler, and go through the fields. Obviously, they had gotten permission for that, but it was just a lot of fun to do that as him and I and a lot of the other friends as well.
I heard that he was also an avid camper and
He
hunter
did.
and
Yeah, I went. Yeah, he was a hunter and a camper as well. Yeah, I camped several times with him. He really enjoyed the outdoors. Is kind of one of his major passions.
so then how did you guys get into robotics? Because
Sure.
I would think that you've got one thing on one side, you have one thing on the other side.
So Daniel was the kind of guy who fit into any group.
Really?
Yeah. So I was more on the kind of the nerdy side, I guess you would call it. I did robotics, and but he fit into really any group from the kind of the more sporty people to the robotics. Obviously, he was on robotics for 4 years, and so he really fit with a lot of people. And so I can see why you'd kind of question, like, if he was so into hunting and camping, why was he doing all this technical
Well, why? I
robotics?
mean, what actually?
So he was a very intelligent person. He didn't show it. He kind of had. We don't know where he got his kind of southern accent, but he had kind of a southern accent, probably from watching Duck Dynasty or the movies he would watch. But yeah, he was a very intelligent person, and he really did really well on robotics. Contributed really well to the team. He was a driver for multiple years, and so yeah, he was both intelligent, enjoyed the outdoors, and he also, I mean, he was athletic as well, which is, I mean, he was an excellent Marine. From what I've talked to from his fellow Marines, he was both very intelligent and very physically fit. And so I think, I mean, he was just a really well-rounded person.
Really?
Yeah.
I've also heard that he loved old movies.
Yeah, he did.
But it wasn't like old classic movies. It was like 80s comedy films.
Yeah, he liked 80s comedies. Like Hot Rod is one of them. I don't know if that's an 80s movie or not, but
I don't remember.
He liked the older movies. He also liked watching kind of the old black and white films like Andy Griffith. He liked a lot.
Really?
And we watched Hogan's Heroes together.
You guys watched Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that is sort of why he wanted to join the Marines.
Could have been, yeah.
Did he ever talk to you about why he wanted to serve?
So I know he had a passion for serving others. He also really enjoyed being an American, and he really wanted to serve his country. And so I think that's a large motivation for why he joined. I think he has kind of he saw it being a Marine as being a very, very dignified way to do your life, and so I think that's another reason why he wanted to be a Marine, because he felt there was a great way that he could serve his country.
When was the last time you saw him?
So he actually came back from Japan for my wedding this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
came back? Was he in your wedding?
He was in my wedding. Yeah, he was a groomsman in my wedding. He gave a speech at my wedding as well, which I'll forever be grateful for that.
And that was this past summer.
Yeah, that was late June of this year. So.
What did he say? Did he embarrass you?
He told a story from back in robotics, actually. A story that we all kind of joke about back in robotics. So.
Which is?
So that's one where I was fairly anxious. I was fairly stressed out that weekend, and so I kind of kind of went off on a rant, and I kind of got mad at him, actually. So he kind of told that story. We look back and laugh at it now, but yeah, it was kind of a fun story.
How much does it mean to you, sir, that the last time that you saw him was in late June, and that it was for something that is, I hope, a lifelong thing?
Could you re-ask that question?
I was going to ask, how do you feel that the last time you saw him was at your wedding?
So it's obviously very hard for me, because Daniel is a very, very close friend of mine, and it's really the last couple weeks have been kind of a roller coaster, because because I've never lost someone so close to me, but at the same time I know he was a believer in Jesus Christ, and I believe that his faith in God, and the fact that he loved the Lord and he wanted to serve him, I believe that he is now with God in heaven. And so as those of us who are left, who are close to him, I firmly believe that we can have assurance that he's in a better place now.
What have we lost?
So we've lost a guy who loved the Lord and loved people. He was a great guy.
What about you? What have you lost?
I've lost one of my closest friends. It's been really hard. This is kind of a side story, but I was very privileged to be able to speak with him the night before he passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he and I hadn't really been communicating much since our wedding, just because life had gotten busy. But once there was just an evening where I had sent him a text, and he ended up deciding to call me, and we talked for about 45 minutes. So I'm really grateful. Obviously, very grateful for that 45 minutes or so that we got to talk.
What did you guys talk about?
So we talked about
Just life?
Just life. We were catching up on life. I asked him about how he was enjoying the Marines and being in Japan, and he said he was really enjoying being in Japan, especially. He had mentioned that before too long he kind of gets to come to a decision of to stay in Japan or to be stationed somewhere in the States, and he mentioned that he wanted to stay in Japan.
Really?
Yeah. So he was. I think he was really enjoying being over there, really enjoying serving in that area. So.
All right, Ryan. Well, listen, I do appreciate it.